Hi there, my name is Melissa Mortensen. I have a website and a sewing and quilting brand called Polka Dot Chair. It's at polkadotchair.com. And I want to just quickly introduce myself here and talk a little bit about the quilt that we're going to be making this year. If you are viewing this in the Patreon group, welcome. The first block for the Society Sparkler Quilt will be live in a couple of days, but I wanted to just say hello quickly before that. And for some of you that may be coming in to this Patreon, or maybe you're seeing this on YouTube or Instagram and might be wondering what in the world this is, I just wanted to give a brief overview of what we're doing this year and invite you to join us. I've been a sewing and quilt pattern designer since 2012, so maybe, was that 12 years? Oh, I can't do math today. I love math. I don't know why that was hard. Anyway, so I've been doing it for 10, 12 years. I definitely have improved my pattern writing skills as I have gone on. And since I'm trying to remember what year we did the first block of the month. The first block of the month that I ever hosted was on my blog, and it was so informal. Like, there was no, some of you guys probably remember, there were no fabric requirements, and the blocks would just go live on random days. So I remember I had people just like sitting by their computer, like wondering what day the block would go live. And I just did not have it very well organized. I was very like loosey-goosey with things. I still am kind of a loosey-goosey person, but I was like, just make it out of your stash, and you know, the blogs will be up eventually. Amazingly, some of you guys stuck with me through that. And then the next year after that, I started doing it in a more organized manner. Heard feedback from a lot of you guys that you wanted it just as a traditional pattern that you could download every month. So switched to that, and I believe this is the 6th, maybe the 7th block of the month quilt that I have made. And each one I like a little bit more than the one that I did before, which I guess is good. Some of the other ones I look back and I was like, oh, what was I thinking? I think you do that with a lot of things that you make, at least I always do. So one of the reasons that I like block of the month quilts is, I personally am pulled in a lot of directions, even though my job is to write quilt patterns and design fabric. I still feel like I'm pulled in a lot of directions, and it can be a little bit overwhelming to think about making an entire quilt all at once within a couple weeks or so. I think this is especially true if you are new or someone that just doesn't have a lot of time to commit to sewing and quilting. So one of the things, and the reason I started the Block of the Month program, was to take something big and break it down into small pieces. This is something we're going to do one bite at a time. And then at the end of the year, you have a quilt top that you can enjoy. And you also have the sense of accomplishment that you have gained from making that quilt. I like to start with simpler blocks and then progress to more detailed blocks with different techniques as the year goes on, so that way the quilt is also a skill builder for you too. So this year is something new. I was very nervous doing this, but I really felt like it, after 12 years, it was time to try something new, and we're hosting the quilt along in our Patreon group. The Patreon group is called the Polka Dot Stitch Society. I'm really excited at the potential that we have there with you guys to do all kinds of things. So we're going to start with this quilt. So I will drop in a picture, but this is the outline of the quilt. It is called the Society Sparkler Quilt because it is made with my Sparkler line of fabrics from Riley Blake Designs. It is being hosted in Patreon. If you guys aren't familiar with Patreon, Patreon is a content sharing app or website that creators like myself will post videos and tutorials and downloads. There's artists on it, there's musicians, there's a lot of YouTubers on it too. And what it does is allows us to connect more one-on-one with you without having to worry about algorithms or Facebook being funny or someone not seeing someone's post or relying on something to get emailed to you. So it's just like a more one-on-one kind of a way to connect with people. And I really, after 12 years, I really was excited. I'm really excited to try that, to really find a way to get more one-on-one connection with you guys. So there You can join Patreon for free, and I noticed that there are a number of you guys in here that have joined for free. To get the block patterns and the videos for the block patterns, you do need to join a tier. So the tier that those patterns will be in is called the Polka Dot Stitch Society. What you'll get is every month you'll get a PDF pattern for a quilt block and a video walking you through the steps to make that quilt block. There are 20 blocks in the quilt, but each block is made twice. So that's 10 PDF quilt patterns that will be released over the course of 10 months on the 10th of the month. So try to make things simple for you guys to remember when everything goes live. On the 11th month, I'll post directions for turning all of those quilt blocks into a quilt. So the quilt that we're making this year, you can see, here's like the first block. It might give you a little bit better. Was inspired by the new Little Women movie. Myself and my girls are huge fans of the books by Louisa May Alcott, and loved the new movie. And there was an antique or vintage quilt in one of the scenes in the movie, and my oldest daughter took a picture of it with her phone, like was watching it on TV, took a picture of the quilt with her phone and texted me and said, "Make me this quilt." Obviously, I can't make that exact quilt. For one, I couldn't get a very good shot of it, and for two, just kind of out of respect for the original maker. So we took that as a jumping off point and an inspiration to create the Society Sparkler Quilt. It is a vintage inspired quilt sewn up in like cotton candy pinks and bright green. And I am so excited about that color combination. Feel free to make the quilt out of any fabrics that you like, but the color scheme was inspired by that antique quilt in the newest Little Women movie. In the comments and in here, I will add the URL for the Patreon group. I hope you guys will join me. First block goes live February 10th, and then on the 10th each month after that. For you guys on YouTube, I just want to let you know nothing is changing. I will still be putting out content and tutorials here on YouTube and on the blog. So if if this is not for you, don't worry, I'm not shifting my whole content model. I'm just adding this to something that we're already doing. For those of you that might feel like you want a little bit more, of a project, a little bit more instructions and help. For those of you that have already joined, welcome. I'm excited to get started. There'll be a couple more videos coming in this week with instructions for you. And for those of you that haven't joined yet, I hope you will consider it. If you have questions, just leave them in the comments. I am more than happy to answer them. Questions about the fabrics or techniques or anything else, just let me know and I will be happy to answer them. All right then, let's make a quilt.